Welcome to Texas Football Talk. I'm your host, Jeremy Lockby. Once again, joined by my brother Clint. This episode, a commitment corner, talking Anthony Jones, defensive athlete out of Nevada. How you doing, brother?
Hey, pretty good, man. After a really pumped up weekend with 22 and 23 recruits, got a commitment from Anthony Jones. He's an athlete, 6'5", 242 pounds, out of Las Vegas, Nevada, went to Liberty High School. Number 567th ranked football player in the country, according to 247's composite, number 48th athlete, and the number 11th player in Nevada. Coaches over Miami, Oregon, Washington, and Arizona, among a few other schools. Really excited about this guy, man. I know a lot of schools were recruiting to play tight end. I think Pete Kwiatkowski came in and said, you know what, no, we're not going to play tight end. I think we like you at probably the linebacker role at the University of Texas. Let's go ahead and roll. And that's what he decided to do. I think another cool thing, man, that you've seen was I've seen it on Twitter. He put out a video. It looks like he decided to commit over dinner. I guess probably either Friday night or Saturday night, decided to commit, and he did it in front of, I think, some other recruits as well as their family members at dinner, which was really cool. So without further ado, I'll let you do kind of go through his film study.
Yeah, so you talked about his position flexibility to play offense and the defensive side of the football. In the film that I watched, he has excellent instincts. He's a real read and react guy. Like, he understands the play as it's being, given to him in front, and he will move down the line of scrimmage if he senses run. He'll communicate with his, secondary if he feels like it's going to be a pass. But a really instinctive guy who has the ability to read and react. The second bullet point I have about him in his position is, out of the film that I watched, 70% of the film has him lined up as a weak side linebacker. About the other 30%, he's divided up between his hand on the ground playing defensive end and as a middle linebacker. But mainly they put him in the middle of the field as a middle linebacker, only to rush the passer. So the way I see him being utilized in PK's defense is that as a weak side linebacker, as it's currently constructed. But 6'5", 242 pounds, you can do a lot with that. And you'll talk a little bit about his credentials and his numbers and his measurables a little bit later on, I'm sure. But diagnose and dive. Again, he's a guy that sees a play, and once he sees a play and sees a ball carrier, he's downhill with urgency. There is no love to this young man's game. Sideline to sideline, if a rusher gets past him, a running back gets past him, or a receiver gets past him, he's going to run him down from 20, 25 yards. Gets knocked down, gets back up. Things that he can probably work on, or his ability to punch against blockers. Get his hands on them, get their hands off him in order to make plays. That's really what I saw with Anthony Jones. Excited he's coming to the 40 acres. Again, he got a lot of position versatility and usage out of this young man. Excited he plays both sides of the ball. So if it doesn't work out in the defensive position, you may look to shift him to tight end or something like that. But that's what I saw in Anthony Jones. Your thoughts?
Yeah, so your last two bullets really have to do with speed. And if you have an opportunity to watch his film, and he has verified 4.74 speed for a 6'5", 242-pound guy. Running 4.7 is pretty good at pretty good rate. And it shows up on film. It's one thing to run it and have a laser time of 4.74, but it's one thing for it to show up on film. And you can see that on a couple of plays, he's chasing wide receivers down from behind, which is really cool, man. But you kind of talked about him getting off blockers. I did see him. He was able to shed the defenders and get around blocks, but when he moves up, obviously from Nevada, playing high school football in Nevada to Division I football, he's definitely going to have to get a little bit better at obviously getting his hands off the blockers, getting his hands off the blockers. Has the ability to get back in coverage and make plays on the ball. Kind of seen a couple of plays in this film where he was lined up probably weak side linebacker, and they asked him to kind of push back into coverage, and believe it or not, he got his hand on the ball multiple times. So you kind of see his position versatility there to be able to get back in coverage if necessary. And then again, he's, like you said, hustle's no loaf guy. He's willing to participate on a kick return and punt return. He's always looking for one guy to block. If he can block more than a couple of blocks, block more than a couple of guys, he's definitely going to do it, man. Really excited to have Anthony Jones again on the 40 acres. We were kind of talking about before this podcast about obviously the state of Nevada is not known for putting, obviously a lot of talent out. So for Pete Kwiatkowski, I think who had a relationship with Washington to go back into Nevada and get this guy out of Nevada, he must see some qualities that he wants on his defense.
Yeah, so a couple of things about Nevada football. Normally the athletes come out of Bishop Gorman, which is from Las Vegas. It's a private school. We've heard many guys like Tate Martell came out of there. So decent level of football, but really like to know what kind of competition that Anthony Jones truly plays in Nevada. I don't know if Bishop Gorman is a school that's on their schedule, but you were talking about his ability to understand when he needs to drop back in coverage. And I think it goes back to not necessarily his 4.74 speed, but his instincts and his ability to hustle. Like he knows the play before the snap of the ball. I don't know if he's giving it from the sidelines or if he sees it himself, but he's always in the right place. And that's what allows a guy 4.74 to run down wide receivers and running backs that are 15, 20 yards down the field. He's got a great athletic ability, but he also has a motor and a hustle that he won't quit.
Yeah, and I know people that listen to us have probably heard us ad nauseum, and we're going to continue to say it. But when you get a guy that's his size that can move around the way that he moves around, it just gives you that position versatility. And in PK's defense, it may be a three down line, a 4 down line. He may put his hand to the ground, maybe standing up one time. Hell, he may play defensive tackle. He may play nose guard at some particular point. Who knows? And I think that's the guys that he's going to. If you go look at the offers they put out, the guys they're currently getting, not just transfers but also in commitments. Those are the guys they're looking for. Is those guys that have position versatility that can play, on the defensive line, but it can also play linebacker if necessary at that jack position or at this particular point they're trying to recruit someone that's considered a linebacker to play the star position, which is halfway between safety and nickel. So you kind of see when this class comes together, you kind of see what he's trying to do, what Pete Kwiatkowski's trying to do with this defense moving forward. But very, very, very excited. This is just the beginning of really the recruiting cycle here in June. But it's nice to come out of really your first big weekend with a commit. I know people were asking, we're going to get 2 commits, 1 commit, 3 commits. It's really, really good to come out of that first weekend with a commit.
Yeah, one last point. You just talked about it, position versatility. And he's lined up at defensive end, he's lined up at weak side linebacker, he's lined up at middle linebacker. But you hit the nail on the head. He's 6'5" and 242 pounds. If you put 18 pounds of muscle on this kid, which is very possible, as he has a senior year to play in his first freshman years in the weight room, if you get him to 260, you could definitely see him playing a 3 technique and in passing situations, playing zone blitz. Like, is he going to come or is he going to drop back in coverage? But that's that disguise game that PK likes to play with bodies just like Anthony Jones. So, yeah, he can play all over the field at the University of Texas with his skill set.
Yeah. So, hey, we appreciate you. We hope you like this podcast. If you liked it, please hit that like button. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button in the comments. Leave comments for us. We try to get to as many of those comments as possible. So we appreciate you listening as always. You can find us on Twitter at TX Football Talk, on Instagram at Texas Football Talk, and on Facebook at Texas Football Talk. We appreciate you listening as always, and hook 'em.
Hook 'em.